All right, so hello, welcome to Goodbye Photo. My name is Brandon. If you haven't been following, go check out the other videos. Little backstory, I'm a photographer. I shoot a lot of street, I shoot a lot of documentary. I shoot all kinds of things, doing a photo series all throughout Europe and into Southeast Asia. And we're hitting up Hanoi, Vietnam.
Pop one of these whole suckers in your mouth.
Yeah, let's get into it. We left Ninh Binh, headed to Hanoi. And when we got to the train station in Ninh Binh to get our train, they informed me that the train was running 5 to 6 hours late. It was only supposed to be about a 2.5 to 3 hour train ride to begin with, so that sucked. So we're at the train station in Ninh Binh, and we were just informed that the train's not coming. And so we're gonna take a bus instead. Giant van bus thing, whatever. There was a man there, and I don't know if he was affiliated with the train, but he approached me and he was like, hey, I have a bus coming. You can get on the bus. It's only gonna take 2.5 hours to get to Hanoi. Freaking heck yeah, dude. Sweet. Love it. Let's go. There's about maybe 5 or 6 other travelers that were gonna miss the train too, so they got on. I think it cost us literally like $4 each for this bus thing. I was like, okay, sweet deal. Everything's looking good. And you know, it's not like a bus like you would think of in the West here, where it's, you know, big and giant and full of steel. It's more like 2 minivans together. You know, maybe seats like 16 people. We start driving. Everything's going great. We get to like the other side of town, pulls over and picks up some locals. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. You know, the bus at this point is a little under half full, so like they're probably gonna fill it, you know, trying to fill seats. You're running a business. We're at maybe 80% capacity at this point, like that's fine. We stop again. Bus fills up. Every seat's taken. I'm like, okay, we're good to go. We're gonna be there soon. This is sweet. Stop again. There's like a little area when you get into the doors of the bus. It's like standing room, and they start filling that up. We're like, okay, you know, fair. I guess, you know, get your money's worth. Stop again. More and more people, we're stopping every 5 minutes. They fill up the back seats even more. There's people in the aisles. There's like a center console that like a literal child sitting on. They're just packing this thing. At one point we stop and this family gets on, and there's like a 10, 11-year-old girl, and she's wearing a bag, like a plastic grocery bag with like the handle strapped around her ears, and it's over her face. And I was like, what is this? What purpose? And a lady next to us pointed to her and then nudged us and goes, car sick. And this girl was preparing already to get car sick by putting a plastic bag over her face. I've never seen anything like it. I hope I never see it again, I'll tell you that. I don't get car sick, and if I did get that car sick, you wouldn't see me on a bus full of people, that's for sure. Continue on. At some point I'm like, this is as packed as this could get. No, the guy running it, he pulls down all these boards and he lays them in between the seats. So there's like 2 seats here on this side, 2 seats here on this side. He lays a board across every seat. So then there's people sitting on those. So what would be like 4 people across is now 6 people. There's no way, like if we got into an accident, kaput, every single person. A lady is leaning up against Taylor, falling asleep. She's holding on to the rest in front of us, which Taylor's also holding on to. I got jealous. It was like an intimate moment. When you get into Hanoi, Hanoi's like a massive transit city. So many people, there's traffic. We get there at like rush hour and we're just sitting on a freeway. All these people crammed in there. We pull into a train station and they're just like, all right, we're done, get off. And everybody starts piling off. As we're piling off, all these men start trying to get onto the bus. And then they're asking us if we need to get a scooter ride, if we need a ride to our hotel and all this stuff. What is this? Not even like, we couldn't even get up from our seats because they had entered the bus. We get our bags that are covered in like some kind of weird liquid also. Who knows what? There's 1,000 people on this bus. It's probably the girl that was barfing in the back. I have no idea.
Bus dropped us off at some place. Now we're in a Grab to another place. But we're out of the bus. So in the last place we just checked out of in Ninh Binh, I talked about the rat picture. And now it's obviously something with Vietnam. This one hopefully means that it keeps rats away.
You know, for the next few days, we just kind of hung out. We were gonna be in Hanoi for 10 days. There wasn't much else we wanted to do other than just wander. That brings me to a point. If you're traveling, especially long-term, wander. Just wander. Don't overcrowd your days. Don't have such a plan that you can't just wander. It's the best way to like find what the locals are doing and to observe them and to check it out. It's the best way to explore a city. On top of that, doing photography and street photography, you should be put in steps. People talk about what's called fishing. You set up in one, maybe a street corner or one place that looks picturesque, we'll say, and you wait for people to come in or you wait for something to happen in that frame. And that's fine to do here and there and for moments, but if you're sitting somewhere for more than 5 minutes, get out of there. It's just not worth it. It's not my style of doing things. Part of the reason I love photography and doing these things is the fact that you get to experience being there and living in the moment. If you're just standing around, one, you're drawing attention because people are like, what is going on? Pretty rare that something's gonna happen. The other thing that I do a lot is I'll like wander until I maybe see somebody who I'm like, this person looks cool. This person is carrying something interesting. They seem like they're, doing something interesting. Or like somebody who like obviously is a local that talking to different people and people are waving and saying hello, kind of like follow them. And like not in a creepy way where I'm like, but in a way where you're like, this guy's gold. There's some people that just draw attention and they have this energy about them. And sometimes they lead you into a cool coffee shop or a thrift store or this alley that you wouldn't go down or things that you normally might overlook. Definitely give yourself time to wander. And that's what all of this whole trip, I've just been like hitting a city and maybe in the morning I'll be like, oh, I want to go to this place. There's a coffee shop that sounds cool, or there's a museum on the other side of town. Within, 2 to 3 miles away, point that on the map and I just walk there in one direction, zigzagging, going back and forth, giving myself time to feel out what the city's about. And then I move on, come back a different way, or I see what's around that. Super important, I think, as a photographer. And if you're looking for photos, feel it out. Get out there, put your steps in. You gotta keep moving. One of the things that I had known about Hanoi going into this was that they have this dish made famous to Westerners, at least, through Anthony Bourdain and his visit to Hanoi with former President Obama.
I'm ready. Now, is it appropriate to just pop one of these whole suckers in your mouth, or do you think that you should be a little more...
Well, slurping is totally acceptable in this part of the world, but...
Questionable sound clip there, but I had to try this. I had never tried it before. There's a couple things I was like waiting to get to Hanoi to try their specialties, and it was delicious. We went to this very like famous spot, madness a little bit, but essentially you get a bowl of broth with some meat in it, some veggies, and then everything else comes on the side. So it's like your rice noodles and these herbs and chilies and garlic, and you're just dipping and putting it and it's so good. Where were we staying? In Old Town in Hanoi is what it sounds like. It's the older part of town. A lot of the shops and the tourists and all the things, they're all kind of centered around this one area. In that area, there's this big lake. I don't know the name of the lake, but it's the big lake. There's like a big pagoda, this like island. Everybody goes there either in the morning to like work out, or it's just like a kind of a center of activity. And we realized, and I still don't know, I asked a bunch of different people and locals and stuff, and nobody could give me a solid answer, but there was something going on where all these tourists, or I think they were tourists, all these women, we'll say that, all these women in silk gowns, Asian style like silk gowns, were all getting their photos taken all around this lake, semi-professional ways. That was very odd. Everywhere you went, they're just like doing each other's hair. There's like groups of women just getting these photos taken. I couldn't tell if it was like for something. Nobody had answers for it. A couple of people said that it happens all the time. I kind of believe it. And then there's also just photographers kind of set up offering photo shoots, but it was very interesting to see. They're getting their photos taken at this beautiful lake, but the air quality in Hanoi was so bad that it looks like fog, smoggy, thick air. At first, for the first few days, I was like, is this just, weird fog that hangs out in the city? And then I looked it up, and we were actually, worst air quality in the world for 2 days was Hanoi when we were there. And then for the whole time we were there, it was kind of just sitting in the top 5 of worst air qualities in the world. Scooters and traffic and all these things, so I'm assuming that was part of it. It was bad. One of the facts I read was going outside for 2 hours was the equivalent of smoking a cigarette. And I saved so much money on cigarettes while I was there. It was great. You felt it by the end of the day. You were just like, your skin felt gross, my eyes burned, everything. You just kind of felt sluggish. So most days we would go out for a couple hours, go get a coffee or go get food, and then go back to our hotel because it just wasn't worth it. So, been in Hanoi for 2 days now. Haven't really done anything. I've just been kind of resting. I've been editing a lot. Through that, I realized I lost a cord for my external hard drive. So I'm gonna go out, find a cord, hopefully, and shoot. We'll see what comes of it. There's no like Walmart to go to, obviously, so kind of like looked up a couple different electronic stores. They would sell like phone cases and washers and dryers. There's all these little shops that kind of just sell things. It's like whatever they have, they're trying to sell it. And so I kept popping into these, and eventually a guy, I was like, hey, do you have this cord? And then he literally took it off of his own stuff and sold it to me, which was super cool. I ended up wandering. I took the day and I was like, I'm gonna wander. I'm gonna go and shoot some photos and do all these things. And it was so much fun. And I kind of stumbled upon some like great just scenes doing that. And one of them, still don't know what it was, I stumbled across this temple and there was some kind of ritual going on. And I don't know what was happening, and they didn't seem like they knew what was happening either. All these men dressed in like some kind of traditional gowns, and they come out, there's like gongs going on, all this stuff. And they're parading, bringing these like platters, fruit, meat, and a gold chest, some kind of sacrificial thing. Cool part about it, not only did I stumble upon it, it was like one of the moments where the locals, what is happening? You know, I'm very used to being somewhere where I see something and I'm like, this is amazing. And then the locals, this happens every day, you're an idiot. But that wasn't the case here. Even the locals were like, whoa, what is happening? This is cool. Those are the type of things that I love. This is a weird occurrence that's happening and I got to witness it.
Taylor and I rushed over here to a coffee class that we thought we scheduled at noon, but was actually at 10. And we figured that out about 9:35. We're so tired.
So Vietnam is known for its coffee. Throughout the whole country, they're very into their coffee. And because of the soil and their landscape, they can only grow a certain type of coffee. And that coffee is very caffeinated, but it's not very good tasting. Because of that, they've found ways to improvise and get around. One of the big things is Vietnamese coffee. A shot of their coffee and condensed milk. If you've never had it, it's very sweet, it's very strong, kick you in your face. I love it, it's so good. But they have 3 other coffees: egg coffee, salt coffee, coconut coffee. Egg coffee is like a big thing in the north. It's very thick, egg custard with coffee. You know, you're gonna drink it, feel energized, feel slow, like a big rolling rock. I don't know. Salted coffee. Oh my God, salted cream coffee. It's just like normal coffee, just like whipped cream with a little bit of salt in it. If you don't put salt in your coffee now, you're missing out. Half coffee, half salted cream, and it's just like, oh, it's so good. I love it. Coconut coffee, coconut slushy with coffee. It's cold, it's delicious, it's refreshing. It'd be the thing that, like, if you were waking up on a beach, but you had to also do homework, that's what you want to be drinking. Coconut coffee. Teacher was the cafe owner. I got to talk to him a little bit about the coffee, and he showed us all the things and how to make it. But I also got to talk to him about Vietnam. Visiting a communist country, you don't want to ask too many questions because you don't want to put anybody in a compromising situation. This guy was pretty open about talking about things. Vietnam is bordered by China, and where we are in the north is where the border is. Not too far from where we were, maybe, I don't know, 50, 100 miles. The guy was very generous with his information and told me about how Chinese government works with Vietnam in certain ways and also punishes. They allow citizens to go into China and work on like tea fields and all these different crops, making a little bit more money than they can bring back, which is great. Part of that is that they export a lot of things to China and they have to keep good relations. He was telling me about was that they trade too much with Western countries like the US. They get punished by China. There's like certain things they can't get because China is like, no, don't do that, or else we'll stop our tourists from coming there, we'll stop your workers from coming here, we'll stop buying your tea or your coffee or whatever else, we'll stop doing these things, and it really damages the Vietnamese economy. One of those things, some kind of coffee crop machine, harvests the beans quicker and more efficient, and it's only made in Germany and the US. Vietnam is not allowed to get them. I don't normally get so into like geopolitical stuff, but it does shed some light into why it is the way it is. And as Westerners go there and we're like, oh, this is amazing, everything's so cheap, and it's like, yeah, but there's like things that come along with that you should also be aware of. You know, I'm not out here saving the world, I'm not the guy, but you should at least educate yourself slightly or attempt to. throughout the coffee class, you get to try all these different coffees. So after it, I was freaking jacked. I was ready to go. I was the most annoying person, is what my wife's diary said. So like amped, full of caffeine. And so then what do? When you're jacked full of caffeine, you walk to another lake and you go ride swan boats. Like,
we rented a swan. Yeah, I have no idea. We just like walked up. They were like 100,000, and they put us in the swan. And it's fucking.
We're not moving.
This is not a good. I think we're going. Oh god. Oh god. This swan is like. I don't know about all this. Steering, I can't reach it.
And swan boats are one of those things where it sounds super fun. You know, being on the water, this giant swan, you're like, goofy, I'm goofing. In reality, 5 minutes later into the ride, you're like, this is stupid. And it was just like, what are we doing? What are we doing here?
It's even harder for you to steer.
Nah, I got this.
I can't even smoke cigarettes out here, peddling a swan around. So I tried to make it fun, and I think I broke the thing.
Why does it feel so clunky all of a sudden?
Because you were going.
Did I break something back there?
There's like a big big thing in the back that's going. It stopped kind of going, is putting my horsepower into it. And again, terrible, terrible air quality, dead fish. They gave us like an extra large swan. I think they look at me and they're like, yeah, you're gonna sink the duck. You need the swan.
Yeah, I feel like they give us the American swan. Everyone else's swan stays like half our size.
Well, those people have our swans.
There was the only other people on this whole lake that had our same size swan was like 5 people.
Yeah, they saw me and there was like this fat fucking big one.
Going right towards you. Not me. I really do think you broke it.
Too much power for this. Maybe we hit a fish or a turtle or something.
Oh, you were going psycho, and this thing is those ladies.
Yeah, what did we think this was gonna be? I don't know. I guess it is what it is.
But yeah, this series is coming to an end soon. This part, Hanoi, probably it's gonna be a 2-parter at least, maybe a 3-parter. So check back. We'll have the next segment of the series. If you've been watching, thank you so much. Make sure to like and subscribe. Make sure to, check out the Patreon if you're looking to get into my photo print subscription service. Check out Substack, where I write, I do know how to write. Fuck you, ChatGPT. Check out the Instagram. Will be down in the description below. Again, thank you for watching. Thank you for hanging out with me.